very warm welcome to the National News Broadcast. We are coming to you live from the Rupavahini News Studio. I'm Delanjali Ananda.
I'm Niket Karunaratne and we'll start off with the headlines as usual.
The 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly begins tomorrow. The President leaves for New York. The 8th Buddhist Roundtable Conference in the South China Sea region is to be held in Sri Lanka. A T-56 firearm used for criminal activities has been recovered from Angola. 14 persons killed in a plane crash in Brazil. India wins the Asia Cup.
On to those and other stories on detail now. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has arrived in New York to attend the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly following his participation in the G77 and China Summit in Cuba. This session, themed Rebuilding Trust and Reigniting Global Solidarity, accelerating action on the 2030 Agenda and its sustainable development goals towards peace, prosperity, progress and sustainability for all, is scheduled to take place from September 18th to the 21st. President Ranil Wickremesinghe is slated to address the session on the 21st of September, where he will deliver a special speech. Furthermore, the President will actively participate in the 2023 Sustainable Development Goals Summit, where global leaders will outline strategies for transformative and accelerated actions towards 2030. Additionally, President Ranil Wickremesinghe has been invited to deliver the keynote speech at the Indo-Pacific Island Dialogue for Maritime Nations. In parallel, he has scheduled bilateral discussions with several state leaders participating in the conference. Now, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says Anagarika Dharmapala has rendered an indelible service to bringing Buddhism to the world.
He has made these remarks participating in the 159th birth commemoration of Anagarika Dharmapala today. At the event taken place at the Mahabodhi Agrashravaka Mahavihare in Maradana, creation of a statue of the ordained Anagarika Dharmapala has commenced. Thereafter, floral tributes have been paid at the Dharmapala statue.
බුදු දහමේ අර්ථය ලෝකේ 1890 කාල පරිච්ඡේදයේ
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that it was Anagarika Dharmapala who in the 1890s had presented to the world the meaning of Buddha Dhamma. He had also explained in extremely simple terms the concept of world philosophy and religions. The Premier further said Anagarika Dharmapala had bestowed to the world the enormous meritorious act of receiving the message of Buddhism. He added that those who had listened to his sermons had started arriving in Sri Lanka and India. Mahasangha, headed by President of the Mahabodhi Society Venerable Banagala Upatissa Thera and Venerable Bodhagama Shandima Thera, have also graced this occasion. Parliamentarian Yadamini Gunawardena and local and foreign Dharmaduta representatives have also attended. A 159th commemoration ceremony of Anagarika Dharmapala was also conducted at his residence today. The residence has now been converted into a museum of the Ananda Balika Vidyalaya. The commemoration ceremony was organized by the students of the school. Floral tribute was also conducted at the statue of Dharmapala at his former residence. Chief incumbent of the Vidyodya Pirivena, Agamaha Pandita Venerable Balanguna Sri Sobhita Thera, has presided over the event. A book presentation also took place at the ceremony. A Dharmapala commemoration ceremony was also conducted at the Rajapaksa Vidyalaya in Pitipana, Homagama today. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena has paid floral tributes at the statue of Anagarika Dharmapala. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that the ceremony has been conducted with the aim of creating a future generation with respect to country, the nation, the creed and the culture. He further said that the country is indebted to Anagarika Dharmapala, who had sacrificed his entire life for the future well-being of the country. The minister added that he could be identified as the father of national education.
The Presidential Media Division in a communique says that the 8th South China Sea Buddhist Shenzhen Roundtable discussion to be held in Sri Lanka from the 24th to the 26th of October. This event will be hosted by the Hunupitiya Gangarama Temple in Colombo. The opening ceremony, chaired by President Ranil Wickremesinghe, will be held on the 24th of October at the Bandaranayake International Conference Hall in Colombo. A preliminary discussion regarding the organizational aspects of this Buddhist roundtable was conducted at the President's office. Sagala Ratnayake, senior advisor to the President on National Security and the Chief of the Presidential Staff, presided over this session. The Buddhist Shenzhen Roundtable in the South China Sea region has been organized by the Hongfa Temple in Shenzhen, China annually. With the participation of representatives from 22 countries, the potential roles of the relevant government institutions in ensuring the success of this conference were also discussed at the meeting.
Now, a T-56 firearm was detected in Ankara following information provided by organized gangster Ganemullah Sanjeeva, who has been arrested and interrogated in detention. Police media spokesman SSP Attorney at Law Nihal Taldua has revealed the fact at a media briefing in Colombo today. Police media spokesman SSP Nihal Taldua said that suspect Ganemullah Sanjeeva is continued to being detained and questioned. He added that during interrogations, the suspect has divulged information relating to the concealing of a T-56 weapon in Angoda area. Later on, it was recovered. The police media spokesman added that further investigations are being carried out. A small female child and a male adult were injured in a shooting near the Maliga Kanda courts, carried out by two persons who came in a motorcycle. The injured were admitted to the Colombo National Hospital. It has also been reported that later on the female child has succumbed to their injuries.
The announcers course and the third stage of the dubbing training course of the national television commenced yesterday and today. A large number of students have joined the courses this year as well. These courses have been registered under the Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission. The Rupavahini announcers courses got underway at the SLRC premises today. The third stage of the dubbing course commenced yesterday at the corporation premises as well. Senior lecturer Ajit Jayawardena has delivered a special address on the first day of the course. Thereafter, the course participants were accorded the opportunity to tour the national television studios. These courses, organized by the Research and Training Unit of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, will be conducted for a period of 6 months. Wildlife officials have been successful in rescuing a mother elephant and a calf stuck in the mud for several days in the Malalara River at the Somavatiya National Wildlife Park.
It took the officials 2 days to free the two elephants. A person who went on fishing in the Mahavali River was reported to have spotted first the plight of the elephants. Upon receiving information, the wildlife officials engaged in an operation instantly to rescue the beasts. The elephant calf was able to rescue initially. The officials of the wildlife rangers offices in Somavatiya and Sungavila, Polonnaruwa, and the residents, after 2 days of strenuous efforts, were able to free the mother elephant as well by last evening. The wildlife officials said that both the mother elephant and the calf were in a dehydrated condition and without food for several days. The veterinary office in Giritale is engaged in providing treatment to the elephants. The national television brought to you news pertaining to the elephant calf roaming in the band of Ismatavawa in Gagamu, which has received gunshot wounds. The wildlife officials have not yet found the stricken elephant.
The 2023 Lawyers Association meeting of the Sri Lanka Podujanam Peramuna was held in Colombo yesterday under the leadership of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Political representatives have also attended the event. General Secretary of the SLPP, Attorney-at-Law Sagara Karyavasam and President's Counsel UR De Silva has also participated in the meeting. The keynote address was delivered by Mohan Samaranayaka.
මේ රට තුල අස්ථාවරත්වයක් නිර්මාණය කරන්න සහරාම් හෂීන් ඇතුළු ඒ පිරිසව රජයට හිතවත් නිලධාරීන් විසින් පොළඹවා ගත්තා. නමුත් මේ තර්කය බිඳ හෙළන සාධක රාශියක් අපිට පෙන්눔 කරන්න පුළුවන්.
අද නැවත අපේ හදවතට දැනෙමින් තියෙනවා මේ රටට නැවතත් විනාශයක් එළඹෙමින් තියෙනවා කියලා. මේ රටේ බුද්ධිමත් ජනතාවට වෘත්තිකයින්ට ඒ හැඟීම දැනෙමින් පවතිනවා. මේ රටට අපි එකතු නොවුනොත් මහා විශාල විනාශයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද මහා කුමන්ත්‍රණකාරී බලවේගයක් ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa has presided over the 1500th program of the Sadham Yatra series and its anniversary at the Vatarama Raja Mahavihara in Kegol yesterday. Parliamentarian Tissa Attanayaka has also attended the event.
ඩීල් ගහුවනම් මම අද ජනාධිපති. උන්නම් තවත් ඩීල් එක ගහන්න තිබ්බා 134ට වැඩි ඡන්ද ප්‍රමාණයකුත් ගන්න. නමුත් අපි ප්‍රතිපත්ති ගරුකව එදත් හිටියා අදත් ඉන්නවා. හෙට දවසේ ජනතාව
Leader of the National People's Power, Anuradhapura Disanayaka, has presided over the Trincomalee District Electorate Conference of the NPP in Muttur yesterday.
දේශපාලන ව්‍යාපාරයක් අපේක්ෂා කරනවා ජාතික ජන බලවේගය පිළිබඳ අපේක්ෂාව මේක තමයි අවස්ථාව ඉතරින් නැති අවස්ථාව ගහන්න ඕන ගේමක් මේක ජයග්‍රහණය කරන්න ඕන.
An alms giving in connection with the 117th birth anniversary of former President J.R. Jayawardena was held at the United National Party office in Panadura today. A group including former Minister Ravi Karunanayake has attended the event.
And we have more news from home in brief. The District Disaster Management Unit says forest fires have erupted in more than 40 protectorates in the Munaradal district in the first 8 months of the year. The unit further says that in comparison to the forest fires of previous years, setting fire to forests has gone up rapidly during this year. It also points out that as a result, old trees and grasslands along with wild animals have been destroyed. Farmers in many areas in Polonnaruwa complain that seeds of maize handed over to them free of charge by the Sri Lanka Mahaweli Authority were not according to the standards. They add that therefore they were not able to reap harvest from planting these inferior seeds. Our correspondent says farmers have restored to sale. A discussion between the trade unions of the Milk Company and Minister Mahinda Amaravira took place recently. The minister says that measures will be taken to convene Milk Company before the COPE committee. He further points out that the company has not been subjected to an audit at any instance. New administrative building of the Polpitigama police station was declared open by Minister Tiran Alas yesterday. The government has spent a sum of 78 million rupees. Nursing officer Pushpa Ramyani Disoisa was felicitated with an award presented for the most powerful women in Great Britain recently. She has received the award in a ceremony organized by the World Humanitarian Foundation at the British Parliament. The Sri Lanka's first international coaching conference is scheduled to be held in Colombo next month. The event is centered around the theme, Coaching for Human Connectedness and a Call for Meaningful Conversations. A media briefing to educate the relevant groups was held in Colombo recently. The ICF Colombo chapter is organizing the event to be conducted on the 17th, 18th and 19th of next month. The ICF was founded in 1995 and now has members across 150 countries and territories. Chairperson of the ICF, Dayalani Abegunawardena, said that this would be the first occasion in Sri Lanka of conducting a conference of this nature.
ICF International really started off in 1995, and they have almost more than 50,000 members scattered around 150 countries. And in Sri Lanka, we launched our chapter, ICF Colombo, in October 2021. And since then, we are having a large number of members, almost over 100 members in our chapter. So, this conference is our very first conference, international conference, all about coaching in Sri Lanka.
That's all we have on local news. Stay tuned for international stories coming up next. Welcome back on Foreign News. 14 people have been killed in a plane crash during bad weather in the Brazilian Amazon on Saturday.
The small propeller plane was nearing the end of its 400-kilometer trip between Manaus, the capital of the Amazonas state, and the remote jungle town of Barcelos when it went down. Officials said all those on board, including 12 passengers and 2 crew, were killed. An investigation has been launched into the cause of the crash. The Amazonas State Security Secretary Vinicius Almeida said initial information suggested the plane crashed after running out of runway when it descended into Barcelos during heavy rain and low visibility. Brazilian news site G1 reported that the plane was an EMB-110, a twin-engine turboprop manufactured by Brazilian aircraft maker Embraer. According to G1, the plane's owner, Manaus Aerotaxi, said the aircraft and its crew met all the necessary requirements to be flying. The mayor of Barcelos told media, RGAR, the plane was chartered by a businessman who works locally in game fishing. He said the passengers were friends from other parts of Brazil who were involved in the sport. Officials said the victims' bodies would be taken to Manaus for formal identification. Barcelos is a popular tourist destination as it lies close to several national parks. September is considered to be the start of the peak fishing season in the Amazonas. The state is especially known for its various species of ornamental fish, also known as peacock bass.
The 2 cargo ships have arrived in the Ukrainian port after traveling through the Black Sea using a new route. Ukrainian port authorities said they reached Chornomorsk yesterday and were due to load 20,000 tons of wheat bound for world markets. Officials said it was the first time civilian ships had reached Ukrainian port since the collapse of the deal with Russia ensuring the safety of vessels. Previously, the corridor had only been used to ships departing from Ukraine. Deputy Prime Minister Oleksandr Korbakov said the ships Resilient Africa and Ariot sailed flying the flag of the oceanic island nation of Palau and that their crew consisted of people from Ukraine, Turkey, Azerbaijan and Egypt. The vessels will deliver the wheat to Egypt and Israel, according to Ukrainian's Agricultural Ministry. Kiev unilaterally declared the maritime corridor, which hugs the western coast of the Black Sea after Russia abandoned a UN-backed deal that facilitated grain exports from Ukrainian ports. Moscow has said parts of the deal allowing the export of its food and fertilizers had not been honored and complained that Western sanctions were restricting its own agricultural exports. Since then, Russia has threatened to treat civilian ships sailing to Ukraine as potential military targets. Earlier this week, the UK accused Russia of targeting one such vessel with multiple cruise missiles as it rested in the Ukrainian port of Odessa recently. Ukraine is one of the world's biggest suppliers of crops such as sunflower oil, barley, maize and wheat.
Storm Lee has left thousands without power in Nova Scotia as it made landfall in the far west of the Canadian province. The National Hurricane Center said now a post-tropical cyclone, it still brought near hurricane strength winds at 112 kilometers per hour. Flights and ferry crossings have been cancelled and millions in New England and Canada are under storm warnings. One man died in the US state of Maine after a tree fell on his vehicle. The tree also brought down power lines on Highway 1 and utility workers had to cut electricity before the 51-year-old could be removed from his car. Seaport Police Chief Brian Lunt said. The storm is now moving north after making landfall on Long Island, a small island southwest of Halifax, on Saturday, according to the NHC. It is expected to weaken steadily during the next couple of days. Around 120,000 people were without power on Saturday.
The sea ice surrounding Antarctica is well below any previous recorded winter level. Satellite data shows a worrying new benchmark for a region that once seemed resistant to global warming.
National Snow and Ice Data Center, who monitors sea ice, says it's so far outside anything they've seen. It's almost mind-blowing. An unstable Antarctica could have far-reaching consequences, polar experts warn. Antarctica's huge ice expanse regulates the planet's temperature as the white surface reflects the sun's energy back into the atmosphere and also cools down the water beneath it. Without its ice cooling the planet, Antarctica could transform from Earth's refrigerator to a radiator, experts say. The ice that floats on the Antarctic Ocean surface now measures less than 17 million square kilometers. That is 1.5 million square kilometers of sea ice, less than the September average, and well below previous winter record lows. That's an area of missing ice about 5 times the size of the British Isles.
Prima Kutumi, Fantamai.
That surely was sad news for Sri Lankan cricket lovers, but with that, that's all the news we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow at the same time for the very latest on Channel Eye. I'm Dhanjali, together with Niket signing off.